The majority of ERP failures do usually not involve technological issues. They fail because of governance and concerns about adoption. In this video, I'll show you how to prevent the 18-month rework that so many teams end up experiencing. Especially, of course, with implementation of the ERP system Odoo, as that's my own specialty, but it also applies to many other implementations of ERPs, CRMs, and other bigger software packages. Over the years, I've witnessed many of those powerful technical builds fail because the people, the data, and the structure were simply never in sync. So let's take a look at the patterns that ensure that your ERP rollouts remain reliable, efficient, and usable, also long after you go live. Every effective ERP deployment starts with honest data collection and cleaning. It's not really sexy, but it determines everything that comes afterwards. A solid foundation is key to every ERP implementation. Before starting the configuration process, you have to make sure that customers, that products and vendor records are clean and in order. Remove duplicates, standardize formats, and check who owns each dataset. Establish a regular updating schedule and a central location for the data regulation so that everyone knows how and in which format they have to present data. In a single rollout, we can standardize product SKUs across different warehouses, for example. Pricing errors can be removed and inventory mismatches have to be cut in half at least, if not removed fully, usually with a lot of manual work. This requires discipline, not technical ability, but just following to the rules and applying them throughout. Many teams fall into the trap of not doing this first step. Or another common trap is feature shopping, so scope creep. People like to chase every model instead of thinking, what problem is it that I want to solve, and is this the correct way of doing it? If you map your real-world processes first and identify the gaps within, you can prevent this scope creep of occurring. So you have to choose whether to configure, customize, or get a workaround. Once you've made your decision, freeze your scope and continue with your plan that you have developed. Any new concept must then go through a clear changelog first and a strict approval process. I remember on one project, finance and operation teams established common procedures early on, and we implemented the advanced needs of those two teams gradually rather than rushing them in, allowing for a slow but efficient implementation that in the end worked when we first went live. And this simple decision avoids months of reworks and uncontrolled customizations that just go on and on and on without an end. Rollouts are most effective when knowledge flows asynchronously. This is just what I've experienced. You have to train people by their role, not the model that they are supposed to use. Identify the departmental advocates who can hold regular meetings during office hours and help you establish those courses. Questions have to be logged and answered once instead of 10 times, so reporting and documentation. I remember in one program we used a live Q&A board in order to help with this process. So people learned in small bursts, and training was done according to their role. So this method basically emphasized the skill development as well as the sense of own ownership. Integrations fail quietly usually until the go live date arrives. Then all of a sudden there's a rush. So go live dates have to be treated as contracts rather than as connections. Document the inputs, outputs and failures throughout the process. Simulate outages and throttling in order to ensure early on that the systems will work. Always have a rollback plan. This is very crucial. And, well, just tell a story. During one of these Odoo rollouts, we stress tested order synced with network outage and everything in mind. And this exercise alone disclosed several API restrictions, which would have resulted in live outages once we went live with full data. So, go live is generally not the end point of your project. It's the beginning of the stability question, from where on you want to continuously support. Stability stems from structure, not from the code itself. So if you need some actionable takeaways, here they are. So you have to begin with data governance and clear ownership of the data. You have to avoid chasing features and rather practice fit gap discipline, meaning that you define your scope and fix it. You have to train using asynchronous materials and local champions in the teams. You have to make testing and reversion plans non-negotiable. You have to stabilize before broadening the scope. In conclusion, ERP implementations don't have to fail. Their success is rarely technical accomplishment. It is a leadership exercise that focuses on governance, on communication, and on adoption. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe. If you need templates for fit gap analysis or cutover planning, please leave a comment. You can follow me here on YouTube or as well as on my LinkedIn for fortnightly videos about consulting leadership. Thank you for your time and see you in the next video.